books.
Gentlemen, I'm having so much fun talking about F1, but we need
we were talking about technology. So segue.
All right, segueing into our 22nd episode. Welcome to the ArcFluence Podcast, where we talk about how design impacts the way we live, work, and invest. I'm Nick Caracan, your host, and today with me again is my amazing business partners and podcast co-hosts, Paul Fatkins and Nino Semerjic. And what exactly is an innovation district?
I like the way Nino was talking about it, thinking about it on a small scale. Obviously, this is like a philosophy for like a whole urban area, right? An innovation district. But on the smaller scale, you were talking about like a maker space.
Yeah, it's like a small space that gives the opportunity that many people don't have in order to innovate, in order to test, in order to communicate, to exchange the informations, and to chill out. You know, why actually creating something?
So a flex space from an architectural standpoint where multiple things can be, this building that we're designing can be used for a variety of things.
A variety of things, and you don't have to own it. You don't have to own the technology, like all these machines and stuff. You just actually become the member, and you can actually use this space. Of course, you have to like rent it. I mean, you have to, you know, how you say, book it. You have to book the space. And but in the same time, you just get there, Bennett, for people that have the same passion, the same or similar goals, and with actually putting like all these similar or same minds in one room when the collaboration starts.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. The key takeaway is the collaboration is like the critical thing at the center of everything. Like think of like Silicon Valley, these like incubators that are out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's this ecosystem, this rich environment of entrepreneurs and, you know, just people doing R&D and research and bouncing ideas off the wall. I think to the TV show where they had the Silicon Valley TV show.
Yeah.
Yep, I watched it.
Yeah, what's his name? Where he's like, it's my incubator.
Yeah. So, and now in this innovative districts, now we're actually trying to expand that beyond the envelope of the small maker space, and get a little bit more into the like a tissue of the urban environment, when we still have to kind of intervene, and I won't say like a forcefully intervene, but starting the like a spark. They can actually create good bond in a neighborhood and start to revitalize this neighborhood through the action of the people, creative action of the people.
We talk a lot about how architecture can impact culture itself, right? A local community, and that can spread and create new interesting things. There's an organic kind of component to it.
Oh, yes.
So, and I think that's what you're hinting
at
right here.
We call it fabric. Yeah, urban fabric.
So that type of organic growth, change, utilization of these spaces now is impacting culture, and you're kind of that's what you're speaking to.
Because space is nothing without people, and space is nothing without people communicating, collaborating, and creating.
I think that's actually one of the requirements for, you know, criteria for the innovation district. You have to have a certain density.
Yes.
Because again, it's like you have some business district that at 5 o'clock everybody goes home. It dies. There's no activity. There's no life to it. There's nothing going on. So there has to be density and activity that's there to like Nino said, spark ideas, spark conversations, spark this diversity of interaction.
Spark engagement. Yeah. Because many people, like especially today, you have a technology at top of your hand. You know what I'm saying? Your iPads, your whatever. You can do a lot of things from the home, connecting to the virtual world or real world. But this is actually trying now to, you're not someone who's anonymous anymore. Now you would like to go and share your idea in front of the people openly and directly and collaborate. That actually now it's only intrigue, not only your like intellectual level, but also your social, human, and emotional level, that you cannot express yourself through the environment of the virtual world, even though you have a camera, but still it's not something, because that's something that we still need. Get out, communicate, innovate, and learn. That's a very important thing, because I also vision this innovative district as a educational district as well, because that's how we learn, through the communication and exchange of information.
Yeah, how have you guys seen the city be involved with these districts? What type of benefit do you have from the relationship of these spaces being created? We know what the outcome is long term,
Yeah.
but like right now, what's the immediate motivation
You need
for
initiative, and initiative is usually comes through the financial sector. So you have to create a space. So you have to create base and bones. You have to allow people even from the low income communities to engage, to get educated, transcend that energy to
And there are a ton of case studies
Oh,
with this in larger
exactly.
cities. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Even when things go wrong and go south, and usually for something to grow and become from the child to adult takes time, takes errors and trials. So you need someone who's going to be willing, and government and city
Yes.
itself is the one who's going to willing to sacrifice their funds, time, energy in order for that to start living and
Yeah.
prosper.
It's always a long-term play,
Exactly.
long-term investment. I mean, look at the zoning code changes that they did
Yep.
recently in the city. They did that to not see some impact within a year or two. I mean, you're looking out like a decade from now. They want to start addressing
Sure.
some of these issues. So it's like they're making change to allow for whatever, looking towards 10 years from now, 15 years from now, how the city is going to look, what that fabric is like,
Yep.
and how these spaces are interacting with each other.
And
You know,
that's initiative, because you're removing the boundaries. You're removing all this administration that you have to go through it. You're making this fabric more flexible.
Yeah, I think by activating these spaces, by building these types of
Yep.
flexible structures that the community can be involved with and grow, it's really, activating those spaces is perfect because it's great for our health. It's great
Mhm.
for, and that's why we do great architecture. But it's also now raising property values,
Yes.
creating a larger tax base, and that's kind of that long-term incentive
Yep.
for the city, because then they
Yes.
can take that money
That's
and
gonna.
reinvest it
Yeah.
back into the
I mean,
community.
we are not talking about like a communes or something back from the history. We're not looking for someone who's gonna, we're gonna say like our government is gonna pay for this, government pay for that. They just create initiative, just to create that initial spark, creating like you have to prepare the land for if you wanna to grow something, you have to prepare it for it. Provide infrastructure.
Which is
And exactly. So, and then recognize the leaders in the communities. They're gonna spearhead the effort.
I mean, it's also just to respond to the challenges that we
Exactly.
face. I mean,
Yeah.
look at something like climate change. If we don't have people together collaborating and agreeing on a path forward, nothing's going to get done, and we're
No.
going to keep going down the wrong path. So yeah, like the whole idea of this innovation district is just, again, incubator, whatever, flex space, whatever it is we want to say. It's creating this environment where you have these opportunities to have the dialogue, to have the exchange of ideas and research,
And
to address these modern concerns and challenges that we're faced with.
and recognize priorities. For example, priority for one district doesn't need to be like a priority, same
same.
priority for another district.
Yeah.
Some district may have a problem with congestions, with the traffic, with pollution, air pollution,
Yeah.
where more environmental responsible action is needed.
Yeah.
Some of them may have faced problems with the crime, with like a low educational levels.
Yeah. Well, just like the few things that you said there, like I think of again, each city has different issues that they're faced
Each
with.
district.
Yeah, like Venice, I know they have like a tax now on tourism. To enter the city, you have to pay a fee.
Yep.
London, for cars and congestion and
Yep.
pollution, again, there's like a tax or a fee to
Yep.
basically be able to access the city at a certain point. Even the dwelling unit stuff that we talked about, the accessory dwelling units the other day. Los Angeles had a crisis with housing, and that was their reply to it, to address that crisis, was basically, all right, let's open it up and make some adjustments here. So I think, again, like this district or philosophy idea is just about looking at what challenges you face, how you're going to bring people together, what things you're going to change to address whatever it is, based on density or whatever climate issues or pollution or whatever.
And that's how you restructure the fabric of the every city, starting from these nodes of the creativity, and if you add to that that you actually add all these amenities within the walking distance.
Yeah.
When I actually my dwelling, my groceries, my recreation, and my work and my entertainment, everything is within walking distance.
Yeah. Did you guys do Kent State's urban design stuff up in Cleveland?
I did.
I think Nick did, right?
Yep.
You did some of that too, didn't you?
I actually did like a 1 year of UCDC. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I missed out on it. I didn't do any
CUDC.
of the urban design
It
stuff.
was a good
CUDC.
program.
It is a
Yeah.
good program. Yeah.
I mean, that goes a little bit deeper, obviously. 'Cause that's the focus of my master's. But I mean, you're talking about infrastructure, green spaces. How not you're just using maybe a community center, but you're using the land and the parks and infrastructure to now help the city function better.
So, Paul, you mentioned they are actually already looking that there are some case studies. Can you maybe talk more about it? Do you know any of these?
Not off the top of my head. I know that there is, I think primarily in Dubai, there's an innovation district. Over in Oslo, there's another science city. So there's a couple of examples like that are out there. We can probably link to a page that has some more information about these different areas. I haven't read up on those areas per se.
So they're probably more closely related to the universities.
Yeah, I think that's one. Again, speaking of the list of criteria for what would qualify or not qualify, I think that's one of the things definitely because again, it's all about research, collaboration, development. So again, there's some issue that whatever it is that they're trying to solve for, and again, proximity where you have all this brain power there. To the university is definitely a key item to check off on what makes an innovation district.
When I was working on Makerspace in Akron, it was actually initiative supported by and financed by the University of Akron, but did not only include the students, also include the community. It was actually part of their program of where people can actually using this space can actually, what you call that, mechanic or something, but you want to now change your profession in something else, almost like a dual education program. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
When actually maybe you recognize yourself okay, maybe physically I cannot do this work anymore. I cannot do the construction and I still need to support my family. This space, this program is going to allow me to learn something
Transition, crossover.
To learn about IT sector, learn about 3D printing or become the innovator. You know what I'm saying? And helps me that was the goal of this program, to help the people that cannot sustain or work or lost their previous jobs because it's just there is no economic demand, especially with all these AI technologies coming into it. And it's also like a dual education program, but they're still working, making some money. They give them flexible space, but they also can apply their knowledge directly in this maker space and help them to progress into completely new field for them.
I mean, I think you have to. You can't ignore the fact that there's technology around us that's going to change the way that we work and function.
Look how much
live.
we change as an architect.
Yeah.
We are constantly adapting to new technology, to new trends. But for us is a little bit easier. For some people, they may have challenges.
It might be a complete shift.
Exactly. And I think that's what these districts, especially inner cities, can help.
Yeah, I think development follows this type of development, right? It's supposed to. We were talking about a spark earlier, and since it's so specific to local communities, if you go to a city council meeting, I like to go to those types of meetings so that I can keep my ear to the ground on all these developments from an investor standpoint, because maybe I want to buy a house on this corridor now.
Exactly.
Because I know those property values are probably going to go up.
And they can be you can have engagement communities, universities, cities, that each of them contribute to and private investors. Why not? I mean, many the private investors still looking for a good workforce, someone who has not only knowledge but some kind of experience that you actually can create in this innovative district. You can actually start grooming them right there.
I know it's a challenge that's facing many industries, especially after COVID and all this reshuffling of everything recently. It's like to find a worker that has a certain skill or experience is just more and more challenging because they don't necessarily want to do it, or there's just not enough of us with enough skill and knowledge behind us or experience behind us. And again, like having this, structure and network around you to basically educate and help people gain experience, I think is going to make more people available for the jobs that we need them for.
I also think since when COVID hit, everyone kind of went to home to work, right? Or had to figure out something new.
Yeah.
And I think that a certain percentage, now that we're pretty much back to normal, kind of like that lifestyle. They liked working from home. So these districts would offer now opportunities. I think small businesses are on the rise. And that's just, I don't know that that's a fact, but I've seen a lot of people now have shown interest in becoming an entrepreneur, starting their own thing.
What's the number one thing that people talk about, like even like on the political spectrum? Everyone's concerned about the economy, right? So that's always the number one thing. Doesn't matter who you support, what you believe in. Economy for anybody is number one issue.
It's my pocket, buddy. Yeah. And I told you that earlier on. Like for me, that's like
you have two kiddos going to daycare, of course.
Of course, man. I mean,
there's your second house payment.
Exactly. So
without the house.
Yes. But look the benefits. I mean, I very like the idea. Look at the benefits. Not only you can tomorrow you're like a co-buddy from this community, can be like a co-owner of the company you started. It can be your employer. It can be your employee. You never know, because connections are still really key. Exactly, because in all this, someone like can be knowledgeable, but you just cannot click on your personal level. You know what I'm saying? So it was like having this community when we leaving our apartments, leaving our virtual bubbles, and go and mingle and just really learn about people and like who you are. Am I really like we have shared the same interest? Maybe down on the road we can do the startup together.
And that looks a lot different from someone in their 20s, someone in their 30s, someone in their 40s. So that's also what's kind of exciting about this. Like this is driving activity for a bunch of different groups, different purposes.
How did we meet each other?
School. Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually, we met in a studio.
Yeah.
It was some kind of like a...
I said that in a question. School?
Yeah. No.
It's been 18 years. I can't remember.
I know. But that's, so look at this. People with a similar interest on a similar place, but with different ideas. I mean, three of us cannot be more different, but very complementary to each other.
Yeah.
And that's where we're looking at. That's where something big can happen. And it's actually already happened and created, because it's very hard to make it from like one individuals. You usually need sell people to create something big in together. So yeah.
Well, it's like our past guest that we had too, right? Like you said, just networking, getting that exposure and having the conversation, all of a sudden it gets the gear turning for what is possible with this or with that, whether it's something with lighting, something with, HVAC. Again, you're starting to think about all these different things because he's there in front of you having the conversation, which is, creating that thought process to start.
So what is the benefit of Ivy League colleges? Oh, of course, it's a knowledge you get there, but it is the most...
network. It's the network.
Exactly. So that's what is the key. Yeah. And we can bypass that without spending so much money for these Ivy League colleges and create the same initiative.
We were talking earlier, like how we should respect and appreciate the trailblazers.
Yes.
Because... sometimes it doesn't always work out.
No.
They are taking a risk.
No.
But it's important to take these opportunities to have this type of architecture and this type of gathering so we can make those connections.
Yeah. I mean, you can find information online. It's easier now to get to information, easier than ever. I remember when I started School of Architecture and we get new like a review magazines in library, we are killing each other who's going to put his own hands on that magazine. That was just a couple of years ago. Now you Google it, everything is there.
Nino, that was 15 years ago.
I know.
I think it was more. Let's
More.
not talk about the number.
Exactly.
It might be more than 15.
More.
Yeah.
There was more.
Yeah.
So, but still you need that human interaction.
Sure.
Because there is a sea of information. But if someone tells you like, have you maybe guys go see that, and that? I didn't. Because it's really hard to always get to the right information at the right time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I think again, like the way the philosophy, how you might structure a district like this, or again, like how you might think about the design and the networking aspect of it. I mean, it's no different than like growing a small business and developing a network of people that you can reach out for this, for that. And then again, you start over time, you start accumulating all of this knowledge and it's all basically there at your disposal. And it's all through that network that you build up.
So are we ready to talk about how we can be more involved with developments like this?
Look, we as an architect.
How about just a community member?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, one of the first, I will say, be open for volunteering. I don't think there's any problem with that. We have information and knowledge we accumulated through all these years working in different industries and stuff. I think the volunteering is something that you as on a personal level can contribute if you're, for example, not of the financial situation and the wealth. I think that's one of the good actions as we as if you can see it and you definitely can contribute in like especially in architecture. I think that's one of good examples.
We might not work for the city and the zoning department, but again, we went to that zone in meeting for a reason. Right. And, they asked for some feedback and some questions and stuff like that. So again, like if you're not volunteering, okay, you're still engaging.
Yeah.
Especially engaging with the people at the city level that are making these decisions, which are going to determine what's going on.
All through the organization as AIA. You say like, okay, guys, you start the conversation within the like AIA community or architectural community and see how we can actually help and create new young architects that we so desperately need today.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's super valuable to encourage everyone to participate in the community that you live in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You do move the needle.
Yeah,
Your opinion does matter. These type of conversations do help create change.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Why I'm voting? I'm just like a one drop in a sea. Like but one drop and another drop and more drops, and that's how things are created, and that's how needle is being moved and spark is being created, and that satisfaction that you help someone is priceless.
Well, it's
going
to help you live longer.
Exactly. And down on a road, you cannot get if you don't give. That's my philosophy. Yeah, you cannot experience love if you don't love someone. So it's a two-way street. So all your people that don't think like that start changing.
I just wish I didn't have to live so long before I realized that.
I know that unfortunately, that's like or he was telling me but it didn't come to my mind.
Right.
It was going to 1 year. It's going.
You heard it, or you were listening, but you didn't hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's like, again, I'm thinking back to our past guests too. It's like there's intention and thought that goes into the space that we use and how we use it. And it's like, again, whether he was talking more about like technology drivers within the space and how the space is controlled and how it impacts you within your bubble. But it's like, again, you still have to. So it's like right now in Columbus, it's not like we really have like a district or a zone or a hub that has, plethora of research and development that's going on. I don't think you can count the Intel stuff as that. There's nothing really at the university level or within that neighborhood.
There's some sparks around the city, obviously, and it's starting to grow. But I think the marriage between community and the government helping to push
university,
that. And university, that's something we need to keep working on.
And we as individuals can, help connect dots, help connect. I mean, even if you for example, this is another good example, part of our district tonight, we're gonna have a open conference where we're gonna talk, Fabio talking us all this fun stuff that he, and we can actually ask Fabio questions. He's a guy who has spent 20 plus years experience
in this one thing.
And exactly. So, and just recommending, and it's going to be beneficial for Fabio because his business is going to learn more, is going to have more audience, bigger audience. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
So now you're actually taking this idea of innovation districts and bringing it onto the virtual platform.
Why not? We can all we can put why not? It's kind of almost have a tech talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We can actually have we as architects can design a nice little amphitheater, open amphitheater that is covered. We all sit there and we have a big screen. We have people sitting on chairs and we have a screen next to us for our virtual guests.
Oh, Danny, you need a mic. This is right up your alley.
And we can actually spark the tech talk. And that's your innovative design. That's when we was
I think AI is now stealing the show on a lot of things because we just don't know its full potential yet, or where we're going to end up.
It's there, but we cannot give up on humanity.
Oh no, I think that technology and we need to use the spaces that we live in and technology to enhance our lives.
We need technology. We need AI. We need AI. So it was the other day. It was I have meeting after meeting, and I was okay, I get very engaged in a meeting. The other fellow needs to take the meeting minutes, and I was I need the AI for me actually to create the meeting minutes. No, honestly, no, for jobs like that, when it's I burn my time and energy to put everybody's name correctly, to spell everybody correctly, I spend almost a 1 day putting the meeting minutes.
And now it's seamless.
And it's I want something who's going to actually, help me put this together and just go and review it. And meanwhile, I can actually design 3 more buildings. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with, again, a lack of skilled workers that are out there. Right? You need to use the tools that are available to basically help you put your time in a more valuable spot versus dealing with some notes.
Yeah, sure. Or having a secretary who's going to just do that. It's it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, and
I think that's going to, when you do have those stronger communities and you have this development and we're now living and breathing in these spaces, healthier lives, better lives, etc., you're going to have less urban sprawl. Yeah. We're going to put more thought into concentrated urban development. We're going to function better together, and we're going to protect maybe all this undeveloped land that can now support nature and all these other things.
Yeah, and one thing as a people we have to learn. I know everybody's talking about race, genders, and all this stuff. I think the most important thing is the culture. It was especially in an environment when you have people coming from different parts of the world. I actually, as myself, came from the little country of Serbia, and I was my English was horrible, and then I met Nick and Paul and things started, but took me a while to kind of adapt to the new culture.
Things started to what, Nino?
Yeah, to improve. No, honestly, it was and this is another moment. Because I always go back why Rome was Rome and successful, why Cartagena was Cartagena, because you have all these creative minds from all the world coming to the place, making that spark bigger.
And this is now setting the stage for that and giving us that opportunity.
Exactly.
I've always had the belief that diversity is something that you should run towards and not from.
Oh my God.
That's why I love New York City. I love living there. I love being
that's
the energy.
Yeah.
But sometimes
where does the energy come from? From the people that live there.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes because of misunderstanding creates the conflict.
Yeah.
So that's
But that's how we grow.
I know, but we became.
Well, how does your son learn? He makes
Yeah.
a mistake. He
Oh,
learns
exactly.
from it. There's some issue.
Exactly.
Daddy's little boot camp gets kicked in.
Yeah.
Okay, come here. We're gonna,
And you have to get exposed to it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to able to feel it, able to touch it, able to smell it. You know what I'm saying?
And how do we encourage that? Through good architecture by making it easy, right?
Yeah.
The less barriers we have for that.
That's true. But you cannot just create a space. You need another factors to contribute.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why it's this organic,
it is.
living, growing thing.
It is organic. And then you will see cities looking completely different. It's not going to be enforced gentrification when you actually resolving the problem of one area, moving the problem to another area. No,
Yeah.
that's not. This is
No,
more.
you're going to be solving these problems.
This is curing from inside out
Yeah.
and outside in.
And that is essentially going to now attract more people.
That is a curing and healing. That is not just moving the problem from one area to another. That's what especially American cities
Yeah, I mean,
needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's an investment that needs to be made. Again, it's long-term outlook that you're looking at.
It's
You know,
easy.
You're talking about 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
And I like how you mentioned before that it's a philosophy.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's easy for New York to be New York, for LA to be LA, San Francisco to be San Francisco. Even these cities start suffering again because demands and constantly changing, and it's hard for especially built fabric to adjust so quickly, and especially legislature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's new trends keep coming. You never know how things will develop.
Well, we're growing a lot faster.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
From the 1980s,
Yeah.
change took time.
Yeah.
Now it's almost overnight. We're seeing new things.
But look how many mid-sized cities you have through the United States. They're suffering. They're empty. They're just concrete.
I mean, pieces of them, right?
Yeah,
They're
pieces of that.
yeah.
I mean, you still have these like libraries and stuff, but they're just like unconnected nodes.
Yeah.
They cannot survive or exist, or they can survive and exist, but cannot proliferate by their own. Need other complementary elements, like a three of us. Three of us can be successful individually, but we cannot be prolific.
We're
and
doing
flourish.
much bigger things together.
Exactly. And same things like you see the initiatives, but we need to, especially like urban planners and architects, we have to start thinking outside of the box and just engage and other fields, social, technology, like just how much I learn about like levels of sleep today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm being in healthcare for now like close to 20 years. So
The look on your face was entertaining.
Yeah. So I was like, I was blown away. But yeah.
Wow. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
How long has this been going?
About 32 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
Got a
close to
little bit of
wrapping
time.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Yeah, I think we said enough.
I think you're right though.
Especially me.
Just to I guess to add on to the end of that. I mean, you're right. It's challenging though, I think, for the built environment to respond to this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the number one challenge because it's slow for the built environment to respond and to do some of these
To
things.
find money,
Yeah.
then to get built,
I mean, look at the places.
and they get maintained.
Yeah, look at the places where the examples are that are called
Yeah.
out, right? In Dubai,
Yes.
in Oslo.
I mean,
I mean, like, again, these are. I mean, look at Dubai's like off the charts with what they're doing. And they're
And-
building everything from
and
scratch
Norway-
and within the
They're
last 10
creating
years.
creating islands.
and
Yeah.
and Norway is already like one of the well-known happier countries. Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Lifespan too.
downtown Detroit. We're talking about like areas, challenging areas like that we
That's going to heal.
there has to heal. I mean, let's start maybe from Franklinton, Columbus area.
Have you seen what's going on down there?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it was like
So much development.
so much development, but still needs to be complemented with some other elements too.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
art district is amazing. Food's coming into the scene.
Yes.
It just takes time.
Yes, it takes time, but also it's more like enforced gentrification. Needs to be a little bit more organic.
Fair.
A little bit more organic, but it's still better than what was before. You know what I'm saying? So
I think the close proximity to downtown also is like you can actually create more rigid things, programming.
Yeah.
Closer to the downtown, and then as we step away to the, you can get a little bit more creative.
Lakeshore of Cleveland, all this industrial stuff like on a lakeshore.
Yeah.
Of Cleveland.
Yeah.
God bless. It's such a beautiful potential there.
I love going up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have all these
we
like
never did as
Cincinnati, the river district was just freaking. I mean, like they would have barges come in and warehouses.
Exactly.
And they completely redeveloped everything.
Yeah, exactly. You have this built infrastructure and they need some love, of course, but it's like it's on a flat land right next to the water.
Yeah.
I mean, and well connected to the core of the city as well.
Yeah.
That's the area I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With all these like big buildings, you can have office that every year changes in something else. Yeah. Or changed, like, you have businesses succeeds, many of them failed and then succeed, but then that space can actually endure such a change.
And that's also why rezoning is so important, because you're not just giving opportunity to investors, but you're also now giving opportunity for all this to actually happen.
Options.
Right.
You're giving more options.
Yeah.
You're giving more options. Just calling them mixed use.
Yeah.
And that's, and restricting on reduce restricting or parking or induce the restriction on parking if you want to propose more like a walking within distance. But if you do that, then you have to provide all these amenities for that.
And I'll say that was the term that was probably used in the 80s, 90s, right? Mixed use.
Yeah.
And now it's more innovation district,
exactly.
hub, whatever. But it's the same idea, the same philosophy, the same principles. There's still this economic, social interaction. Now maybe we have more technological forces that are coming into play as well. But again, there's still all this overlap in again, research development that's happening.
It is easier to bring dwelling than actually to bring the businesses to the certain area. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the dwellings end up supporting the businesses.
Exactly. So it was like that's why this mixed use is not good enough term anymore. Needs to be more induction in more spark being included into it, which is I love education and knowledge. That's what attracts the people. Yeah. But that's what actually make us better, sophisticated, and successful.
You should always continuous improvement. You should always be learning.
Yeah, education is still the key element. It's a key element.
Sure.
In everybody's success.
I think it's more prevalent now because of all the change.
Exactly. Because of the complexity and just how fast information and world is changing.
Right.
So.
Cool. Well, I think that's a good spot to end.
Yes, it is.
Well, guys, thank you for joining the show. We will see you in 2 weeks.
This has been the ArcFluence Podcast. Please subscribe on the platform of your choice and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can get more information and additional content on arcfluence.com.